Are you serious?
Hello, there's plenty of ways to kill an hour out there. Right now, you are killing one with me, Marcus Bronzy. Time for another little bonus episode where we find out how DJ Yoda likes to kill some time. A little snippet from a brother podcast of ours called Marcus Meets. But beforehand, you know, I like to give you a little bit of love in the form of an app review. Yesterday at the end of and at the start of the show, I mentioned the Batman Telltale game, which had been released. I will talk about that in just a sec, because that costs a little bit of money, and I like to give you a little bit of freeness as well. So, in fact, no, I'm going to talk about it first. I'll talk to you about a free Batman game afterwards. I'm a massive fan of Batman, so this is going to be heavily biased, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. Massive Batman fan. So is Funk Butcher, and quite a few of the other How to Kill an Hour presenters as well. Now, this version of the Batman game is, as I've mentioned, the Telltale series. Now, what's the difference between Telltale games and other ones? Now these games are like massive cutscenes which you have influence over with small gestures. For me to call it a computer game that you play heavily would be a little bit of a lie. You may have experienced this in some computer games over the last few years where there's cutscenes, there might be sections where you have to press a button, push left, do something to counteract or to initiate a part of a cutscene. Telltale games are pretty much like that all the way through. It's very much you watching the story and making decisions which can affect the character then and there in that situation, and also later on in the game. For example, in the first chapter of the game, you say something to Catwoman and she remembers what you say. So that has a direct effect on future outcomes and parts of the game that you get through. Now, for me, this is fine. I love the Batman universe. I love to watch a story as well as play a computer game. I think, you know, in terms of its output, it uses all of the same actors that I've been used to from the Batman game franchises, from the Arkham franchises. Graphically, it looks fine for a phone as well. It's got a slightly more cartoony look. If you're looking for like a well-polished, you know, next-gen looking title, this is not that. I'm not going to lie to you. This is very much its own flavour of output. And I like the cartoony look. A couple of issues with sync, like some of the voice stuff is a little bit out of sync. I don't know if it's because I've got an iPhone 7. I mean, there's two ways you can look at that. The phone's running fast, so it shouldn't be any like lag from the phone's point of view because it's a new phone. Or it might just be that the app's not being, you know, tailored to this phone just yet. I don't know. Doesn't matter anyway. The game I like. The story's great. I'm on chapter 2 of 5. You get released chapters bit by bit after paying $3.99 for the app itself. There's a season pass, which I believe you can get all episodes if you want to pay more. But I kind of just think, yeah, I paid $3.99 for this app. I'm cool to wait for another episode. If you can't wait, I'm sure you can invest that extra little bit of money. So yeah, that's the Batman Telltale game. In short, if you want to watch a Batman story where you get to experience a psychological side of it and make decisions that direct the narration of this heavily, then yeah, you also get to see a bit of Bruce Wayne as well and make decisions in Bruce Wayne's shoes, which is something you don't get to see that much in other Batman games. It's worth you trying out. That's $3.99 on the App Store now. Get your hands on that. We'll put links for this and every other app we talk about in the show description. For those looking for a free Batman game, because you're like 399 pence is way too much for me, there is an Arkham Origins fighting game. It's a free game, pretty simple. It's one of those ones where you tap the screen to block, you tap the screen to punch, a couple of taps with 2 different fingers to block. You can upgrade your character. It's one of those games that's designed to draw you in and you invest time powering up your character. Or if you want to, I'm sure the developers like this spend a little bit of money, you can upgrade your character a bit more quickly. You get bosses, you get different areas of Arkham that you fight in. It's a little bit of a laugh, it's not like a full punch 'em up. I mean, to be fair, with the kind of innards that phones have now, I'd much rather take a Street Fighter style game, sort of punch 'em up, and sort of like the classic DC and Capcom and Marvel games that you used to see in arcades. Like, I think that should be the direction that these games go in. If they want to really hit home, I think these kind of like semi-turn based, semi sort of gesture based games where you've got to like tap the screen and flick a button aren't really aren't really doing it for me, but for a free game, it's cool. I love Batman, so I kind of enjoy playing that for a little while as well. I'll put a link for that in the show description. Anyway, DJ Yoda is a legendary DJ. Most recently put out a mixtape which was based around Stranger Things, and it's doing really, really well. Pretty much has fun with everything he does. Well worth checking out DJ Yoda. And he appeared on an episode of a podcast called Marcus Meets, which is a brother podcast to this. And part of the podcast, we asked him how he likes to kill time. So how do you like to kill time when you're chilling, Yoda?
I'm like a media addict. I've got a real problem with it. Like, I couldn't go without, when I say media, I'm talking about music and video. Like, I couldn't go without that. You took that away from me. I don't think I could exist a day. I don't know what I'd do. So if I have a lot of downtime because I'm traveling with gigs, you know, I'll be on a plane for who knows how long. I'll be on a train, the motorway. Suddenly I've got like 3 hours. I always just turn to like albums and movies, man, TV shows. Like it's not a very original answer, but like you look at the apps on my phone and it's all, you know, Netflix, BBC iPlayer, like these are the podcasts too, man. Like that's how I can hour. It's kind of a bit meta and self-referential in this format, but like that's what I do. Like
even the word meta's become podcasty, you know. Anyway, sorry, yeah.
Podcasting has become meta because there's a lot of podcasters interviewing podcasters.
Yeah,
that I'm not so sure about. I'm not sure that. I think that's the thing that needs to stop. Actually, like you interview me for my podcast, I'll interview you on my. It's like, okay, we're all being a bit backslappy here, and like, how about breaking out of that and interviewing people who are nothing to do with podcasts?
Yeah,
that's my thinking.
I hear what you're saying. I think that's why it's interesting to sorts of people that I've not had open dialogue with before, and in an environment which is just chill, like whether it's over our studio or office space, whether it's in your place, it's just nice to have a conversation with somebody and hear fresh conversation, because I feel like we can never have this again.
Yeah,
we can have a conversation, but it'll be part two. Like, remember last time and you said this about, really, I've had sushi donuts.
That's like an amazing thing. You're like, I envy that about what you're doing, is to be able to sit down with someone completely new and get to know them for an hour. That's an amazing thing to get to do. Like, even before podcasts, who could do that?
Exactly.
Hi, Mr. Stranger. Like,
exactly.
Come and talk to me for an hour. That doesn't happen very much. Exactly. Like, you might meet someone in some environment out there, but people don't have an hour to like break down their thoughts about everything.
Exactly.
Like, so you should feel blessed with that one.
Oh yes, it's great, man. And you know, like working for a big network, they're never going to sign off stuff like this because who knows where the conversation is going to go.
I know, man. Like, I got nothing that I'm plugging. I'm not here to be like, hey, buy my album. Like, it's just, to me, it's interesting to talk about stuff in depth like this. You don't get that very much in this world of like very fast-paced media.
Yeah, it's interesting that like in a world where there's so much demand for short clips like YouTube, Vine.
Yeah, well, look at Twitter.
Twitter.
Like, I love Twitter. I'm addicted to Twitter, but it needs to be balanced out with this kind of thing for me. Yeah. Like, fine, like ingest your media in like one sentences, as long as you are also getting like a full-on hour and a half of someone like really talking about everything that they think as well.
Definitely.
I think that's a good balance.
All right. Well, yeah, bit of movies, bit of music, bit of Twitter, and some podcasts as well. How convenient. That was how DJ Yoda likes to kill some time. If you want to check the whole of that interview, all you have to do is go to marcusbronzy.com/meets. That's MarcusBronzy/MEETS meets. Or whatever podcatcher you're using at the moment, however you listen to your podcast, search for Marcus Meets and you'll be able to find the DJ Yoda interview, plus loads more. In the meantime, thank you for listening to this. We'll be back with another How to Kill an Hour episode very, very soon. Stay blessed. I'll be Marcus Bronzy.